continue to engage with them in as far as that role is concerned, but they're not going to influence the path that the coalition agreement takes. So no, we're not concerned. We're working hard internally to make sure the coalition is strong and it stands. As you've seen in the last few days, we've seen expulsions of councillors fairly rapidly. We've seen all the different parties in the coalition really come to the party and effect their own internal rules and constitutions to ensure that those councillors are removed that can't be trusted. Councillors have been replaced. We've been seeing swearing-ins of councillors, and so numbers are being restored to the multi-party government, and we will continue with the work of repairing and rebuilding the city. And as far as the Speaker or the DA's Speaker nomination is concerned, that again will be announced by the technical task team of the coalition. Our technical task team is our national leaders of the various political parties in the coalition. There are talks internally, and a decision will be made on who we're going to be fielding, and that decision will be announced by our national leaders.
Sure, Jones, ENCA. Mayor, the opposition is alleging, I'm sure you've answered it, but just maybe extensively, the opposition is alleging that the DA is stalling based on lack of confidence in numbers. Maybe if you can just give us a bit of clarity on that. And then, does it really matter who's calling a meeting between the ACM, acting city manager, and the speaker? And if it does, don't you think the outcome of the meeting is one, and would it yield any different results as well based on what you've just spoken about in terms of numbers there? And how are you going to ensure that your position is intact, since parties in the multi-party government haven't been seen commenting others, and on the latest developments, do you think some of them are being lobbied as well in terms of them now speaking to the likes of ANC, Al-Jama, and furthermore? And lastly, Councillor Funzi, Councillor, last one, Councillor Funzi spoke about filing a motion against Kolima Kubela. I just want to know, in terms of that, is this a form of vengeance, or are there any merits to this, despite you saying that she's brought the city into disrepute? Thanks.
Okay, so just in terms of the allegations of stalling, no, there is no stalling. When you set a date for a council meeting, there are several considerations. Remember, this is an extraordinary meeting, it's a special meeting. It's not in the council calendar. A council calendar gets approved a year in advance. There's various other commitments. There's committees that sit. There's launches, programs of the executive. So in order to come up with a date, you would need to consult extensively internally and make sure that you pick a date that everybody would be able to honor if we were to have a council meeting. And that's going to happen. The acting city manager, together with the acting secretary to council, will continue with the engagements that have already started with the various parties, and they'll come up with a date that's suitable so we can have a council meeting. No, our numbers, as I've already said, are intact. We already passed the 135 mark. In fact, we already passed the 136 mark, and we're just looking at the extras. So there is no need for us to stall, because even if we were to go to council today, we would have the numbers to defeat whatever that the opposition tries to bring. So no, that's not true. In terms of my position, no, I'm not worried about my position. In fact, we've just had a meeting with the MMCs. We meet every week on a Tuesday morning just to engage on where we are, give each other support, and plan together. And we are as united as we've always been. There's no issues, and no, my position is not in danger. Please remind me of what your last question was again. On the motion of no confidence against the chair of chairs. So in the coalition, we sat and we looked at the different positions, the mayor, the speaker, the chief whip, the different chairpersons of the different Section 79 committees, and the chair of chairs position, of course. Now, when decisions were made on which party would get which position, it was a lengthy and well thought through negotiated process. But trust is very important, because all these positions are interdependent. If the chair of chairs sits on her responsibilities, it affects the executive, it affects the legislature. And it's important for us to ensure that we've got somebody in that position that's responsible, that can be trusted, but that also has integrity. And integrity includes recognizing that we are an institution that is bound by the rule of law, we abide by the rule of law, we respect the rules of this country as well as the rules of council. And Councillor Makubele has not demonstrated in her actions in the last 2 weeks that she is that person. certain. Therefore, yes, as a coalition, we've lost confidence in Councillor Makubele. We feel she's no longer fit to hold that position, and we believe that there will be somebody better in the coalition who can take that position forward. I don't know if Councillor Ngobeni, you'd like to come in and add? Thank you.
SABC? No questions. In that case, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. The executive is at work. The coalition is strong. To report otherwise would be fake news. We thank you, and we'll see you again tomorrow as the multi-party government reports on the work that has been done.
All right, that is a media briefing by the Mayor of Johannesburg, Mpho Phalatse. Of course, this comes after the High Court ruling yesterday that deemed null and void a special sitting of council that was expected to happen today. The multi-coalition, along with the executive mayor, saying that that court ruling was a victory. Mpho Phalatse saying that the numbers in terms of a coalition and any kind of voting against other positions in the council sitting will not go ahead, because she is sure that the numbers for the coalition are actually, are actually going to trump the opposition. Of course, we've got our reporter Puleli Chwiti-Jones there to give us more information. But what's also interesting is her reiterates that her position as the executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg, she's not worried about that. You might remember that the coalition, some of the coalition partners last week or the week before held a press briefing along with the leader of COPE in the coalition, or in the council of Johannesburg. Colleen Makubele had said that they will be going ahead to actually try and vote for her to actually also step down as mayor. This included your Al Jamar party as well. She says that she doesn't believe that that is going to happen because the numbers will be on her side this time. The DA did say that they believe that Vasco da Gama being ousted by the no confidence vote back in about 2 weeks ago in council. It was about 1 a.m. when he was ousted, Vasco da Gama, as speaker. The DA had said that they believe that some of the councils, the members of the coalition rather, who voted for da Gama to be booted out were actually bought, and that their votes were actually bought. They opened a case at the Hillbrow police station against both the EFF and the ANC. We'll continue with that story and reaction with Puleli Chwiti-Jones. Let's take you to a short ad break. More news when we return.